Hello guys, how are you all? Good evening to all guys. How are you? Hello everyone. Hello. Okay. Okay guys. I am good guys. I am good. How are you all? Okay. So today is basically the day 4 guys. So what we'll be going to do today is okay. So we'll be simply going to understand about some keys, some basically primary keys and foreigner key. Again, in detail, I'll be going to explain you because in the yesterday session, most of you basically having a doubt regarding something, right? So what we'll be going to do, we'll be simply going to understand this thing. We'll be simply going to again understand your this one. Okay, now, all right. So just give me 1 second. Okay, I hope I am like clearly audible and I am visible too, plus my screen is also good. Can I get a quick confirmation, guys? Can I get a quick confirmation over here? Sorry, guys. Is everything okay? All good? All good? Cool. So, guys, let us just say one thing. Just try to understand one thing. You have three tables for now. Let me just again copy the same thing over here, so I'll be easily able to make you guys understand what I am basically going to do over here. Okay, let me just again going to explain you. Just give me 1 second. Okay, now just tell me one thing, scenario I'll be going to give to all of you. All right, now just see one thing. If I have table 1, that is a student table, and the table 2 is course. So over here I basically have to define one thing, that which student, like Alice, Bob, and again Alice is basically here, right? So which student is enrolled on what kind of a course? So can you merge these things? Okay, can I say over here that okay, Alice is in mathematics, and again like physics, okay, and again like mathematics. But the main question is, the mathematics, physics and mathematics that you will be able to see, is it in a right format? It can be like this also. Just see, it can be like this also. Okay, that mathematics will going to come over here and physics will going to, you have to create this table, you have to add this column in student table. So how you'll be able to do it? Are you guys able to understand it or not? Guys, can I get a confirmation over here? Are you able to understand what I'm saying here? I have this table. Okay, just let's just erase this one. I have two tables. Okay, now I have to assign in front of the name that which student is enrolled on what kind of a course. The course name I have to define. So this is the problem. So how I'll be able to do it? This is the main thing. Okay, so that's in this kind of a case, the primary key and foreign key come in the picture. All right, because just see how I'll be able to define. Okay, maybe the Alice can have physics one, and Bob and Alice again can have mathematics over here. I don't know the proper format. So if this is the scenario, how you will be able to do it? So how we can solve this problem? Just see one thing. So over here I have one table, that is student table. Okay, ID is basically there, name is there, age is there. Then I have course ID. Okay, in table 2 that is course, and table 3 I have that is enrollment. where I have where I have a student ID 112. So 122, it is like this thing. Okay, now over here I'll be just simply going to match that what is the student ID that is matching over here, ID, right? And course ID I'll be going to match from here, and from over here I'll be just going to create this course name here by using these one. So in this case, this ID will going to be the primary key for student table. All right, and this student ID over here is going to be the foreigner key. Okay, okay, what you are saying? Yes, but for that you need, for even joining something, you gonna need something, right? You gonna need something. That is the main point over here. Okay, now just see one thing, guys. So in this case, the primary key and the foreign key basically comes in a picture. All right, now one question, we like, you guys might be having one question here. So the question is, all right, if I have a table, how I'll be going to add a primary key from my end? This can be the question. Like, ID is there 123, course ID is there 101, 102, 103. Now student ID, course ID is basically there. From where I will get these things? So don't worry, guys. The client will going to send you a data like this. Okay. The client will basically send you a data like this. And then you will be able to do it. Now just tell me, guys, do you have any kind of a confusion in primary key and in foreign key? Guys, any kind of a confusion in primary key and in foreign key? Are you able to understand what I'm trying to say here? The concept behind primary key and the foreign key, why we needed it. Guys, can I get a confirmation? Guys, hello, guys. Can I get a confirmation here? Yes, Rajan, you are right. But over here, I was like explaining just a concept, so you guys will be able to understand. You don't have to worry about the from where you will be going to get the primary key and this and that. The client will going to send you all of these things. Yeah, Gaurav, I'll be going to explain you. Just see. So I have basically table 1 that is student and I have table 2 that is course. All right. So now like this value is basically not here. So course name is there, that is basically the column name. Now over here I want to add one or more column course name, but I have to assign the value like Alice, Bob and Alice is there. So Alice is in which course? So right now I have it in this format. All right, but it cannot be like this, that it is a sequential way, like mathematics should be there, then physics, then mathematics. It can be like this also, first physics is there and after that Bob is in mathematics, then again Alice is in mathematics. It can be like this thing. But how I'll be able to know the proper sequence, that which student is enrolled on what kind of a course name? So similarly, if I have a table like this, I cannot do anything. So for that, I need primary key. Let us just say, let us just say this is my, let us just say this is my main table. So in this ID is basically a primary key here. All right. And now I have table 2 that is course, where I have course ID and course name. Now in table 3, I have enrollment ID. Okay. Or let us just say one thing. Okay. ID is there. Now I have two tables. Okay, so if I basically have table 1 that is student and table 2 that is course, if I have this ID, from this ID I can match it. Let us just say Alice is there. So Alice is enrolled, whichever ID is 1, this person is enrolled in mathematics plus physics also. But if I just talk about Bob, that is having ID 2 and ID 2 is here also, so I can basically say he is in mathematics. But a person who is having ID 3, so he or she is NA. All right. Have you got it now? What I'm trying to say? Guys, is it clear now? So whichever is the main table, let us just say table 1 ID was there. So this is going to be my primary key. And the same key will be here, the same column. So whichever is not my main table. So for that column, like the same column ID, we call it as a corner key. Okay. Abhijit S, are you able to understand it now? Like you was asking me to repeat this thing and explain it again. Okay, cool guys. Let us just move forward. So now let us just try to understand what is basically your, there are some kind of a joints in SQL, right? So that will be for going to decide for now. So guys, just tell me how many joints you guys are aware about. Okay, name these things. It is not a duplicate value. Okay. It was the like same student can enroll in this thing multiple courses, right? So yes, a foreigner key can have duplicate values, but not a primary key. Okay, right, yes. Inner joint, left joint, full joint, cross joint. So if we just talk about, yeah, so if we just like talk about these joints, right? So let me just explain you something over here. So guys, this was the like explanation with respect to this thing. Now, let us just say in real life, what will basically going to happen? In real life, client will going to send you a data in multiple tables. It will not like that, because just see guys, these things basically take place on a big scale. Like in company, in industry, whenever you will be going to work with, okay, yes Abhijit, right Abhijit. So just see one thing guys, whenever you will be going to join an organization, at that time the client will going to send you a data in multiple tables. It will not always be like, okay, one CSV I'll be going to send you, okay, or a one table I'll be going to send you. It will never be like this, okay. The things will be really messy. So this is just a small example that we are basically taking over here. Let us just say you have customer table and you have order table, okay. So just tell me one thing, just tell me one thing, okay, which column is common over here, which column is common over here? Customer ID, right Akansha? Customer id is important. Now if I have to find out, okay, John Doe is there, Jane Smith is there, Sam Wilson is there, over here which column is basically there that I can add over here? So can I say order date? If I have to make this table, okay, let us just copy this thing. If I have to make this table like this, okay, okay, let us just say example I'm just giving over here. Don't take this data seriously that okay I have did it wrong and all. So just see one thing, if I have just to mention order date also over here, so how I'll be able to do? What I'll be just going to do, the customer ID that I have, I'll be simply going to match it. Okay, one is there, one is there. So copy this one and paste it over here like this. Okay. Now what I'll be going to do the next part, like two is there. So two is also here. So this will going to be the second one. All right. Now again one is there. So in one we have two this one, and in three there will going to be and like this. Okay. It will basically going to look like this over here, guys. So similarly, I have order detail tables. Okay, just see over here I was having customer ID. Customer ID is also there. Order ID is also there. So just see now order ID is there, but customer ID is not there. Now we are able to see, okay, customer, let's just say order ID is there, 101. Whichever person is having 101, like 101. So customer ID is 1, customer ID is 1, that is John Doe. Like this, a matching we are doing. This is like a chain rule that we are following. Okay, now we'll be able to see from here, name is John Doe, and he has ordered two quantity of order. That's why over here two dates are there, right? Two dates are basically the different dates, but he bought something on a different date, not on a single day. Similarly, we have categorical table. So these are the tables that we have. Now on these tables, we basically have to perform different joints. Okay, so let us just say if I basically have to perform an inner joint. Okay, what these inner joint, what is this outer joint, what are these joints? So let's just try to understand. Okay, let us just try to understand this one, and let me just share my screen over here so you guys will be able to understand it. Okay, so inner joint. From a picture, you guys will be easily able to understand what an inner joint is. Okay, now just see. Okay, this is not that clear. Just give me 1 second. Now it is okay. Okay, I think this is visible over here. Okay, my screen is not visible. Just give me 1 second. Okay, now I think it is visible, right? Okay. Okay, I think it is visible. Yeah. Now just see one thing, guys. Inner joint is basically what? Which take all the columns. Okay, which will going to take all the columns. All right. Now, let us just say I have customer ID. First name is there. Now I have order ID. Okay, and customer is basically here. So customer ID, whichever ID is basically going to match. Let us just say 3 and 4 is only matching over here from these two tables, right? So only that data we will be going to return over here. Inner joint is basically that where all the things are basically matching, only that it will going to return. Okay, now let us just understand right joint now. So just see this thing, right? This is your right joint. So what we are doing over here, this is my SQL, this is like customer table and order table, right? So what we are doing over here, we are basically doing a right join. Okay, that means the right table will be going to give it a full importance. Our ID is basically matching over here. That is going to be 3 and 5. Okay, first name is basically going to match David and Betty. But amount will be going to take all of it. Okay, that is right join. But when we'll be going to give full importance to the left table, so it will be a vice versa. Okay, let me just show you that also. Just see this thing. Now we are considering customer table. This is a left join. All right. So customer ID and first name is there. Now whichever ID is going to match, obviously 3 and 5 is matching. That is David and Betty. Now only that particular amount will be going to use over here. Okay. All right. Now, and let us just understand about Just give me 1 second. Now just see this thing. And this is your full outer joint. So what we are doing over here, whichever thing is matching, that will be even going to consider, and whichever things are not matching will be even going to consider. Now what is the meaning of it? Let us just say in this table which all customer IDs present, 1 2 3 4 5, but over here 10 3 6 5 8 is there. So what we will be going to do over here, we'll be not only going to consider the matching one, we initially will be just going to mention all of it. Okay, so that is basically known as your outer joint. All right. So this is how it will basically going to work over here, guys. Just give me 1 second. Let me just share my entire screen again, and let me just show you from the code perspective. Okay, I hope this is visible now. Yeah, this is visible. So let me just show you the code over here. So first we'll be just going to create these tables that I have basically told you. So for that, the thing that we'll be going to do first is create a schema that is going to be day 4 and apply. And I'll be simply going to create some tables. So over here, let us just say in the day 4, I'll be going to create these tables. And I'll be simply going to execute this one. So just see, day 4 table I have created, customer ID int is there, primary key it will going to be, okay, varchar is there. Now order ID, that is a primary key. Now order detail ID, that is going to be the primary key. Now product ID, that will going to be the primary key. Like this, I have created these tables, and some primary keys I have basically created. Now the second step that we'll be basically going to do over here is we'll be simply going to insert some kind of a data for now. Okay, now some kind of a data we'll be simply going to insert over here. So for that also, let me just write a code over here. So this was okay. So from here I'll be simply going to do it, and it will going in a day 4. Some demo data I'll be just going to insert over here. Okay, now if you'll be just going to look into, just refresh it first. Just go in day 4, go in table. Now we have country table which will going to look like this. Customer table we have which will going to look like this. All right, now we have order detail table which will going to look like this. Now we have order table which will going to look like this. Now product, now supplies. Okay, so how many tables do we have over here? Can I say 1 2 3 4 5 6 tables we have over here. So I think From a sixth table we'll be going to learn these things, joints, and also it is a good practice that you have multiple tables and multiple things you'll be basically going to learn over here, right? So let us just do these things and let us just write it now. So this is like, so what I'll be basically going to do over here, guys, now. So this is going to be your inner joint. So for inner joint, what we are basically doing, if we have to get that result that I have just shown you, so it is like that: select orders dot order id. Orders is what? The table name, comma, customers dot customer name. So orders dot order id basically means this is my order table. Order id is nothing but in this same format we have a column name. Okay, now customers dot customer name. Customer, we are referring to a table. So customer is where? Customer is here, and we have in the same format we have customer name. All right, now we have comma, order dot order date. Okay, so that is basically order. So orders date. This is the date, right, from orders. This is what we are selecting, right? Now we'll be basically going to mention over here inner joint customer. Customer is what? Your table name. On orders, order is what? Again a table name. Dot customer id. Over here we are saying in orders we have a column that is customer id. So let us just see the table. So yes, we have a column that is customer id over here in the middle one. All right, so on, like inner joint we want to do, but on what particular same column? That is going to be orders dot customer id and customers dot customer id. That means customer id same in customer table plus customer id same in order table. So if we will going to execute it, okay, let us just say day 4. Okay, so like this it will going to look like. Now just see one thing. Now we have order id, customer name, and customer date. But if I just click on customer, over here we was not having the date, but after doing this inner join we are easily able to get the customer order date also. Are you guys able to understand what I am explaining over here, guys? Do you guys have any kind of a confusion till now? Okay, like I am just making things more easy, guys, so you guys will be able to understand it. Okay, I hope everybody is basically clear till now, right? Okay, so this is what our inner joint basically looks like. Now let's just talk about a left joint. How my left joint will basically going to look like over here. So this is going to be your left joint, guys. Okay, now just see this thing, guys. What we are doing, Select orders dot order id. Order id we are selecting from order table. Customer name we are selecting from customer table. Order date we are selecting from orders table. And okay, and what we are doing, we are merging it. Now we are using again customer and order table. So which thing is common? Obviously, like customer id is basically common, so obviously we'll be going to attach it. We'll be just going to join it, do the left join on this one. So previously we was getting a result like this. Just see this thing. Three columns are there. Now if we're going to execute it, what it is saying. Okay. Okay. All right. So now we are basically getting a result like this. Like order id we are basically getting, customer name we are getting, and order date we are getting, because we are basically doing a left join. Okay, just see, order id, customer name, and this thing. So order id, customer id, and order date we basically have over here in the orders table. But over here we are considering order id, customer name, and order date. So order date only we are basically using over here, and we are considering left joint as a customer table. So we are basically getting customer name over here. Okay, so this is basically going to be my left table over here, the left joint we are doing. All right, so this is about the left joint. Now similarly, if I just talk about if I just talk about the right joint, this is how my right joint will basically going to look like. Okay, now, so now we are basically doing right joint on the same thing, customer and order table. Now you'll be able to see order ID, customer name we have, and order date we basically have over here. All right, because we are basically using an order joint over here. Sorry, right joint over here. Okay. All right, guys, just see. Sam Wilson is basically there if we are basically using a right joint, but just see the customer one. Sam Wilson is basically there. Sam Wilson. All right, but customer ID 3 is not there in order one. There is no 3. So what it is giving in the result, it is giving as null, the order and the order ID. So if we are using left and right joint, if something is not matching, so even at that time it will be going to return you the records, and rest of the columns values will going to be none. All right. Now if I just talk about full join, so this is the code with respect to the full joint, guys. Select order ID. Okay, I don't know what is this error is saying to me. It is saying orders dot order IDs, unknown column name orders dot order ID. Is order ID not there in it? Order ID is order date is there and order ID or DR order ID is there, right? So like okay, day 4 dot orders. It should work like this, I think. Okay. Okay, guys. Now you guys tell me what kind of a error I'm getting over here. What do you think, guys? Why it is giving me an error? What do you think, guys? What mistake I have did over here? Okay, okay. This is what I have to remove. You are saying so? Yes. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Just see, even like after adding it, we are basically getting this error, right? I think code is basically right. Day 4 is basically there. Orders is basically there. Okay. Let me just try it by using this thing. Okay. Maybe it will not give me an error. Okay. I think query is basically right. Now it is basically saying unknown errors order.order ID. This is the one thing that I'm getting over here. Okay. So you guys are like telling me to add it, but even like after adding it, this is not working. Not at day 4 before order ID. Okay. Day 4 I haven't added. Okay. Uh, okay. Just do one thing. Day 4 is not missing. This is basically right, but okay, leave it. Okay, so what you are saying, day 4 before customer. Okay, like over here it is also not working. But if we just add it over here, like previously, like it was working with this thing, the left one and all, it was basically working. But now it is giving us this error. Look, like when we was basically working it with like this, the right joint and all, obviously it was basically working on these things. But I think with the full joint we have to do something over here. Maybe because of that we are getting this error. Okay, just give me 1 second. uh, just give me 1 second, guys. Let me just try to solve it, otherwise we'll be just going to jump to the next one. Like maybe tomorrow I will tell you these things. Okay, maybe let us just check the column names again. Maybe because of that we might have basically did some kind of a mistake, because this is like a full joint that we are calling over here. So orders we basically have, and order ID O is basically capital and I and D is basically capital, I think, right? I order ID, I is capital or not? Like when we have basically created this table, no? Okay, just give me 1 second. Uh, I think we should like not full joint, we should use full outer joint. Okay, maybe full outer joint will work over here. Okay. Maybe some mistake I'm doing, but right now I'm not able to recall this one properly. So leave this one. Let's just discuss the next chart. Like tomorrow, guys, tomorrow I will tell you the answer of it. Maybe I'm getting stuck somewhere. Really sorry for these things. So let's just discuss about a cross joint. How your cross joint will basically going to look like. Okay. So this is how your like cross joint will basically going to look like, guys. So just see this thing, like what we have did, like customer is basically there and an order is there. So initially we are like focusing on the cross joint. So what cross joint will going to do, it will just going to take the customer name and the order IDs. So let us just say customer is basically there, customer name are there. So I only have three records for now, that is John Doe, John Smith and Sam Wilson. But if you will be able to see like multiple these things are there. So what cross joint is basically doing, if you'll be just going to look into the order ID, how many IDs do I have over here? Can I say order ID is basically these things? Okay, like order ID is basically 103, 102, 101. So whichever like it is basically belonging to these things, the customer names, right? Whether like it is repeating or not, so it will going to consider it that multiple times. Okay, so obviously a duplicate one, it will be just going to show you. Okay, this is how it is working. Okay, now after that, like this is it about these things, the queries that we have basically seen over here, the right one, the left one, like full we was basically getting some error. I will like try to resolve it and then I will basically tell you these things. Okay, Abdullah Rajan, just see these some task what you can basically do. Just try to search it on Google if you are trying to practicing SQL. Then at that time you guys will be able to you guys like will be able to do these things, these tasks, right? So do try to do something from your own end, guys, so you guys will able to know how things are basically working. Because just see one thing, let me basically just tell you one thing over here. What basically happens in real life, that whenever you are basically getting stuck, okay, so instead of going to the senior, okay, what we always like used to prefer, or what is the general appropriate way that you basically have to do over here is that you basically have to go on internet and search the problem instead of going to the senior again and again. What you basically have to do, you just basically have to go to the senior again and again. Okay, so just like try to like go to the senior, search for these things. So for sure you will be able to do it. But just see one thing, if you want me to show you these things, so union is like also possible. That is basically not a way. This query I'll be just going to send you. What you can basically do over here, this query you can basically try on your own. Like left joint is basically there, and right joint we are using on the basis of union, right? And if you'll be simply going to execute it, so just give me 1 second. Okay, why it is giving me an error? Okay, just see. So therefore like this the result will basically going to look like. Okay, all right guys, so I can basically say this is it for today's session. Tomorrow I'll be like somewhere we was basically lagging, so I'll be just going to tell you the answer of this thing in tomorrow session. That was what was the problem we was facing, and a mini project we'll be going to do for tomorrow. Tomorrow is basically the day 5. So I hope guys you guys have enjoyed the session. I was able to explain you about primary key, foreign key, and about the different joints. These are the only things. Just see guys, initially when we guys are basically learning these things, we always have some kind of a doubt. Okay, like are these the same code that we'll be going to use in real life? Okay, like this is the main thing, like are these the same code that we'll be going to use in the real life? So obviously yes, when I was learning these things, okay, when I was in the initial stage, I always had this thing in my mind. Okay, these are just a demo code, but what is the thing that I'll be going to use in real life? That was the thing. But initially when you will be going to work as a data scientist, maybe a Java developer, maybe a data analyst, at that time you will be just going to face, okay, things are same, the data set length is, or I can basically the size is increasing. Okay, so I can basically say this is it for today's session, guys. So tomorrow is the last day, so we'll be going to do a mini project. So till then I can basically say take care, guys, and good night to all of you guys. Okay, okay guys, bye bye, thank you very much for joining. See you, take care, bye bye.